Welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels, a Star Wars Legion podcast bringing you the latest news, general perspective, and competitive discussion.
Hello and welcome back to the Notorious Scoundrels podcast. I'm Kyle. I'm here with Jay and Tim. What's up, gentlemen?
You know, yeah, I tried to start off this podcast derailing it like I did the last one. Kyle has had a strict hand though, and it's not.
Yep. I had multiple people make comments to me. They're like, "Wow, that was something last week." Like, I didn't listen to it, so I'm sure that sounds like they had fun.
Yeah, we did. That's what happens when we let the lunatics run the asylum.
Well, today we had a couple tournaments last weekend, more than a couple. We're only going to talk about two of them because that's all I have in front of me. So I apologize to those from the French national qualifier, and there was also a tournament in Tennessee. I hope it was in Tennessee, or I'm going to be making somebody sad. But I have not. I don't have any detail from those yet. So we're going to talk about the Nordic World Qualifier, which was in Denmark and featured a lot of players from various parts of Europe, but it's obviously Denmark and also Germany, including our very own Lucas, as well as Dr. Power Slam. So,
oh yeah, our buddies over at 3 Foot Good put on a tournament too over the weekend too. Somebody was sending me results from that. So yeah, there's all kinds of I mean, listen, there's all kinds of tournaments. This is a great time to play Legion, man.
For sure. Yeah. It's and then of course there was the SoCal Open in San Diego, which unfortunately I could not go to this year. Did go last year. It was amazing. San Diego's awesome.
But
it's
beautiful there.
Yeah, the weather's great, the food is amazing. When I went there, I'm like, man, everybody should live here. But of course, it's already very expensive. So that's
I used to a little side note. I used to have years ago. I had a boss that lived in San Diego, and like he would always have the camera, so it's just like this part of his head, and I'd be like, "Yo, man, like." Why are you only showing this part of your head? And so one day he goes, all right, you can't tell anybody. And he turned the background blur off, and he was literally in the pool like while he was on a Zoom meeting.
Just like,
just like relaxing in the pool. Beautiful San Diego day. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
He's like my spirit animal. That was so good.
The taco weather is foreboding for snow is gonna fall any day, I'm sure of it.
Dude. Yeah, they same for us, right? Like we just got we just had a notice in like the local news that's like part of New York to expect 6 to 8 inches in the next week. I was like, dear God. I was like, already? Oh man. Oh well. What are you gonna do?
Start shoveling.
Yeah.
It was beautiful here. 65 to 70 over the weekend.
Hey, it's same here. We had beautiful. We're going into a particular summer that I don't know that I'm allowed to talk about anymore, but it's a summer. It's the second summer.
Okay.
We have been at the freezing point for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Lord.
All right. Well, I will continue to enjoy my 65-degree weather.
Yeah.
Until such time as the winters here are gross. It's like 33 degrees and rainy is kind of sums up the Northern Virginia, DC area winter.
At all.
No, like if it's going to be cold, I'd rather it just snow.
Right.
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago, so here it's like it's unpleasant. I'd rather it be 25 and snowy than 33 and rainy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
25. That's cute.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like -5 up there probably.
Yeah. But it's cold. Well, I mean, actually,
it's got to get colder than that. It gets -10 here, like Fahrenheit. So
it gets cold enough where I am from that no matter if you use Fahrenheit or Celsius, you're describing about the same temperature, which happens at about -35 on both scales.
Wow. Okay.
Ugh.
All right. I was way off.
It's so cold. We just use the same number. We just stop counting
Yeah.
in different numbers. It's
It doesn't
just the
matter.
same
It's a
one.
minus and it's a big number. Wear
It's
something
cold.
over your face or your eyelashes will
Yeah,
freeze. Yeah.
it's cold enough that like how cold it is described in the minutes before your skin freezes. It's left covered.
How cold is it? Minute.
a minute, and then you'll instantaneously die.
Oh, that's
Speaking
fun.
of that, quick tangent, because I just thought of this, and these things are super interesting to me.
I did it, everybody.
I saw it was like a thing about, on each planet in the solar system, how long would it take you to die?
Okay.
And what would you guess the fastest essentially instantaneous death would be?
Which
Venus
planet?
or Jupiter?
Yeah, which planet?
Instantaneous.
Yeah, less than 1 second. It would be instantaneous.
I'm gonna say Uranus.
Okay, Tim.
It's Jupiter pressure, Venus heat.
You got to pick one.
Yeah, smart guy, Mister. I'm in college and I'm gonna hedge all my bets. You just pick one.
I'll guess Jupiter.
Okay, it is Venus. Because the pressure is so high and it is so incredibly hot that you would be instantaneously flattened into a pancake and also spontaneously combust. So,
which would also happen in
first?
Jupiter.
Yeah. I mean, it might be like 1 second versus 2 seconds of.
I'm gonna be
survival.
honest. I have no idea what would happen on Uranus. that's the one that came to my mind. So
I don't either.
Yeah.
Basically the same thing. It's a big old gas giant.
I was just thinking gas. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like the gas would get you, but oh well.
Yeah, no, the surface temperature of Venus is like 650 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Speaking of, did you see that probe that hit Titan? That they landed on the planet, the moon Titan. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I love that stuff. Anyway, sorry. Okay, back to podcast.
That's in space. That's closer to.
It's tangential subject.
Space.
Topically adjacent.
Yeah. Today we're going to talk about cover on Jupiter.
Yeah. All right. How about we hit housekeeping before we get too off the rails here?
All right. So, hey, we talk about this every week, and you guys have been amazing out there. Patreon. We are pumping them numbers up. You guys are doing amazing. Listen, I know how many people listen to this podcast. I know how many people we have on Patreon. They are not equal. And so what I'm asking you is, if you love our blog, if you love this podcast, if you love the content we put out, we're going to be putting out even more here soon. We've got some new stuff that we're going to be working on that I don't want to announce too early, but I can tell you in about 3 to 4 weeks, you're going to know exactly what that is. And if you love all the content we produce, you love all the writing, you love all the tools, all these free tools that we have for you, all the free content that you can enjoy in tools, we actually pay everybody for, the people who produce that stuff. And so if you want to help support that and support your favorite writers like Tim, support your favorite podcaster like Kyle, they've got families to feed and they need this. No, no.
I hope I don't.
Yeah. Well, been meaning to talk to you about something, Tim. So yeah. We got a call the other day. No, listen. So all these great writers, podcasters, tool creators, we like to let them know that they're it's worth doing what they're doing, and so we like to pay them, and we do that through the Patreon. So if you love all this stuff, you could come support us on the Patreon. If you join our Patreon at any level, you get another free podcast. We have an After Dark podcast where we talk about all kinds of stuff, more in-depth Legion stuff that we're working on in the future, insights to what's happening at the 5th Trooper, and some more in-depth content. We also are doing a monthly live Q&A on our Patreon, so you can come, and if you join today, when you listen to this Wednesday, we're actually doing a live Q&A, so you can come on and come ask us questions and talk to the 5th Trooper crew. And people ask, Kyle's done a few of them, and people just ask about Legion, how to play certain units. Kyle does amazing breakdowns for people. So like if you want to get bend Kyle's ear on what he thinks tactically how to use a unit, he'll answer you. That's your shortest path to talking to Kyle directly is through our Patreon. And the rest of us, I'm using Kyle specifically because he was there last time. And so and speaking of Kyle, he also put out a roughly 10-minute cohesion, in-depth tactical video. Kyle did a video.
It's a video. I did a video.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked. It's good too. And so if you want to hear Kyle's thoughts on cohesion, we're going to be putting that video out this week as well. So on the Patreon. So not only are you supporting the all your content that you love, you're also getting a ton of free content. And we're also sending out quarterly rewards like the Battle Force cards and other print and play cards. And we're going to try to send out some of the errata cards. We've got cool tokens that we're going to be sending out. So there's just a lot of really cool benefits. And you can sign up today. So go to patreon.com/the fifth trooper and sign up for our Patreon. We really love that people are doing that, and I just want to see those numbers go up and up. So if you could do that for us, that'd be awesome. In addition, we had our bounty hunter tokens, order tokens that were on pre-order, so they are all going out tomorrow. So if you ordered those order tokens from us, they'll be going out, and now they're available. So if you want to get some really neat bounty hunter order tokens, we've got those up on the website, including a ton of other stuff. I just started putting up, we've got like hoodies and jackets and hats and bags and all kinds of other stuff, posters, frame posters. So I'm making a deal with this company that they basically ship it to you from their factory. So that's pretty cool. So that stuff's up there too. So yeah, check all that out. Yeah, I guess that's it, Kyle, for what was I doing? Housekeeping, yeah, sure. Yeah. Boy, I really went off there. I have so much I forgot what I was doing. All right, yeah, let's go. Let's talk about Legion, I guess. Is that what this podcast is?
It is.
No.
So let's talk about the Nordic World Qualifier first.
All right.
So there were 49 players
Okay.
at this event, so a pretty good size event. This was a official Worlds qualifier with the winner getting a plane ticket / lodging, which from Europe is that's a big deal, from Europe to Chicago. So
can I say something about the lodging? I can tell you with confidence that they are taking that very seriously for Worlds.
Okay.
So that is a thing they are taking seriously, which I was surprised isn't the right word. I guess grateful that they were doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Listen, I know we always talk about AMG and we always point out their faults, but here's one of the positives. They are honoring all those Worlds invites, and they're honoring everything that the FFG promised and everything that they've been promising as far as flights and lodging and all of that stuff. They're honoring all of that. They didn't have to. They could have just told us all to be like, yeah, those Worlds invite you guys got before the pandemic, they're gone. They don't exist anymore because of extenuating circumstances, right? And we all would have been like, yeah, totally, we get it, and started that up again. But they didn't. They held all that. And so if there's that's one super positive thing about this whole thing that I think is great.
Yeah, and on that note, actually, before we get to this, if you think that you have a Worlds invite, if you got one of those coasters or one of those rectangular glass thingies, maybe, or
I got a card. Well,
okay.
No, so I got the rectangle. I don't know where it is, but they also gave me a card with my name on it. Yeah.
Anyway, if you think you have a Worlds invite, check your email, because a bunch of people got emails today from Organized Play, Asmodee Organized Play,
and confirm.
Basically saying that if you want to participate in Worlds, you need to click on a link and fill out a form. And I believe that they only, unlike the original sort of just mass blast of fill out this form if you think you have a Worlds invite. This is a like specific email to people that supposedly have Worlds invites, basically confirming that they plan to attend Adepticon. The deadline for that is Friday. So check your email, do that link thingy if you think you have a Worlds invite and you didn't get an email. I'm not really sure who to tell you to contact. Maybe I would start with the TO of the event that you have that from. That's probably where I'd start. I don't know. I don't think there's like a organized play Asmodee email. If there is, I guess you could try that one. Certainly there's not one publicly posted that I'm aware of. So you could try like the general Asmodee email, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, check your email. If you don't have it, start figuring out who to contact. Probably start with your TO. But yeah, they did send those out. And I can also confirm that they have a provision in there for if you won one of these world qualifiers and you are supposed to have travel covered, there's something in there also about travel. So they are definitely honoring that. I don't know if they're, I was told that they are also honoring, like you said, if you won one of those events under FFG, that they are also honoring that travel. I don't know for sure, but yeah. So short version, check your email, check your spam folder. Some people said they got it in their spam folder, but it's a very short turnaround Friday.
So let's see. Atomic Mass Games has a general information email that you could probably, it's info@atomicmassgames.com. So you could probably email that and they would point you in the right direction.
Yeah. That'd probably be where after going to your TO of your event, that's probably where I'd go next if your TO can't help you. So, all right. Well, let's hit the Nordic Worlds qualifier.
Okay.
So, faction breakdown. This should not be hard, but what would you guys say is the most common faction at the Nordic Worlds qualifier?
For the whole thing?
Yeah, just most commonly played.
Empire.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They like their bikes over there.
Yeah, it's Empire is the most popular at pretty much every tournament right now. Yes, Empire, 35% of lists, followed by Rebels at 26% of lists, followed by Separatists at 21% of lists, and then Mercenaries, which is Shadow Collective, 14%, followed by this is really funny. I love the results of this tournament. How many Republic lists would you guess there were out of 49 players?
49 players. 5.
2.
1. Oh my God, there was only one.
There was exactly one Republic player at this tournament. But I will tell you that Republic also had the best advancement rate. Look at that. So how about we start with I guess we could just, there's actually no top 8 here. We just have top 4. So I'm sorry, Nordic World Qualifier people, if you were in the top 8. I think this might have been straight Swiss. Lucas, Dr. Power Slam, Finn, anyone that was there, please correct me if that's not the case. But so we just have a top 4. I apologize, European players. Okay. Also notable, 2 of these players, for reasons that I won't speculate on, basically like declined to play their top 4 games. They essentially like conceded in advance. Finn and Johannes, who are 2 of the best players in Europe. So
I mean, there was a message in Discord.
in which Discord?
Oh, in the tournament specific Discord.
Oh, okay.
The streamer basically said the karaoke bar was open too late last night and just straight to finals.
Okay.
So
all right.
Perfect.
That sounds like a very German thing.
Yeah. Love it.
Both of these guys have previously won European Worlds qualifiers, so they already have travel paid for anyway.
Well, we
So
saw
they
a
probably
similar
didn't
thing
have-
happen at Nova, right? Where like the people that had Worlds invites were just like for that fifth or fourth game or whatever to go into the finals. They were just like, yeah, man, you got it. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah, maybe that's what happened here. Maybe
Yeah.
they partied a little bit too hard at the karaoke bar. Maybe it was some combination. Maybe they partied a little too hard at the karaoke bar because the next day's results were not that important to them. Who knows? But we're going to talk about their list anyway, because of course they did make top 4. So with Finn, we have Blizzard Force.
What?
Yeah, can confirm that that's good. His version is actually very similar to what I'm running for Invader League. This is kind of the structure of the Vader bikes with Blizzard Force, but he's got an Imperial officer with improvised orders, 2 heavy response units with DLTs and RT 97s, 4 speeder bikes naked, 1 naked snow, another snow with a medical droid, which is interesting. I might steal this. And then Vader with push, choke, tenacity, and into the fray. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like the template, right, for Blizzard Force. I love that he has a medical droid in there.
The few times I played Blizzard Force, I've always made sure to get a medical droid in there.
Yeah, and I've definitely been feeling, because I have almost a identical list, except instead of the medical droid, I have 4 transponders on the bikes and then binoculars on the officer. It was one of those when building a list like this, like when I built mine for Invader, like I took everything I wanted and then I had like 40 points left.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what do I do? I guess I'll take some transponders and some training upgrades on Vader, which I don't normally take, and some binocs, I guess. But medical droid, that's interesting, Finn. I might have to steal that because I think my primary observation about Blizzard Force is that it can very surgically and quickly apply an extremely high degree of pressure to a specific area of the battlefield. We talk about the concept of like a scalpel unit on this podcast before, but a unit that, like is fast and strikes hard, but also is not very durable. That's kind of like Blizzard Force as a whole. Like Blizzard Force is like one giant scalpel, basically. And this is why I think Blizzard Force kind of lends itself to tables, because between the 4 bikes and the long range storms and the overwhelming barrage card, because you can kind of like very narrowly target your firepower onto very specific things very quickly, it tends to snowball, no pun intended. But I have noticed that like when stuff starts to die, it falls apart pretty quickly because it is not a durable list. Your 2 core units that do most of your damage have essentially only 2 extra bodies in them before you start getting to heavies. And of course, speeder bikes are fragile. If Vader can't get involved early enough, then that's a lot of points that you're hanging out there. So I played Bobette this past weekend in my final round robin game. Luckily, it did not matter for elims, but it definitely exposed the weaknesses of having a list that is fragile, because he was running 12 activation stats, so he could basically go with all of his stats after I was done, which became a problem for me. And of course, Bobette's very good. He won last season on Invader. So, but yeah, I might steal that medical droid. I like that a lot.
The heavy response units are also very like train scopable. It's like so it's losing a heavy, put it back and good to go.
Yep. So. Agree. All right. And then we got in third place, we got Johannes, he calls it Luke Shooters, I think, or maybe this is what. So spoiler alert, we have an article that's going to come out, which I'm reading this information from. So this must just be
author. I wouldn't really.
This could be just made up by the author.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to ascribe this one to Johannes. Because some of these other names in here are not serious. Let's put it that way. Anyway. He's got a rebel officer with vigilance and a scanner, a pike capo with vigilance, Luke with all the things, force push, burst of speed, force reflexes, tenacity. That's like the quote standard Luke build these days. 3 rebel troopers with DLTs, the captain and situational awareness. Again, the standard rebel trooper build.
Yep.
1 pike with the disruptor and the capo, and 1 pike with just a disruptor, and then 2 sniper strike teams. So
Yeah, it's a dodge spam, Luke dodge,
dodge spam, Luke dodge
Yep.
spam. Yep. Very good, very solid list. So
Yeah, and I mean, I think we talked about this, right? Like we play. I think John specifically was
Yeah.
talking about throwing pikes in there and pulling out some DLTs for some extra. But yeah, this very in line with where we thought this this list would be.
yeah, it's kind of a natural evolution of the previous Luke DLT list.
Yeah.
I mean, you've run this list, Tim, right?
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, it's the 5 sort of core unit concept. Like the one I was running was 4 like core units with the 2 or the 3 snipers. This one has 5 and then the 2. But the 2 units like pikes really help that because they're going to be generating their own dodges. So you're vigilant, like because you can only vigilance 4 units. So the pikes sort of spread that vigilance ability out a little bit further, just because of how they generate dodges for themselves. So
Yep.
yeah, it's the force user with a gun line concept taken
Yeah.
with a pretty reliably strong offensively and defensively gun line.
Yep, exactly. All right, second place, Alexander Hitmuller. How do you pronounce like when you have like the O with the
It's
the
like
line through it?
yeah, I forgot.
I'm sorry,
I had it for a
Alexander.
second. Yeah.
I'm totally anglicizing your name, and I apologize. But anyway, he was running another Empire list. It is this one is actually pretty interesting. It's an officer with improv and binocs. Then you have Boba Fett with situational, up close and personal comms, relay, recon intel. 4 storms with T-21 and the specialist, a storm with a DLT and the specialist. A unit of IRG, another unit of IRG with Into the Fray, and then a dewback. So this is kind of like Boba with a bunch of durable core units, and then Royal Guard and a dew. Interesting.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, I don't care about Legion at this point. I just wanted to figure out that So basically, from what I can find, it's similar to the same as in Bird or Hurt. So it's a
Heat.
Muller.
Murder.
Yeah.
Murder. Okay. I'm sure I still butchered that. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Alexander.
It was still fun though.
Yeah.
But that's part of the reason why we don't say Dr. Power Slam's name.
That's true. Yeah, we just call him Dr. Power Slam.
Yep.
All right, and the winner, Yannick. I would love for you guys to try and guess what this list is. Give us 2 guesses what the winning list was. And if you already know, then that's cheating, I guess. But I'll give you 3. How's that?
Do you know, Tim?
I don't know, so I'm thinking of my 3 guesses.
So I don't know the specifics. I know what faction though. Is that okay? Can I still play?
Yeah, I think you're still
Okay.
not going to get it in 3 guesses.
Okay.
2 guesses. You might get it in 3, but I don't think you'll get it in 2.
Whoa.
Although maybe the fact that I'm implying that this is hard might give you some
Yeah.
hints.
Just do
Well,
it, Tim.
it's-
Come on.
I don't know. Was it a Maul Shadow Collector list?
Nope.
Was it a Boba Fett of some kind?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm just going with the basic ones here. Was it that Lone Republic list?
Yes, it was. The single Republic list that came to this tournament won.
So I did hear it was Republic. I'm gonna go. Was it Padme Anakin Pikes?
Nope.
Oh my god. Whoa. Saber, Yoda Saber, is that back?
Nope.
Oh.
Was it Wookiees?
Nope.
Oh,
This is fun.
God.
I like this.
Oh, was it no Wookiees? Was it Yoda Chewie?
Nope.
Was it Rex? Did Rex make his triumphant
Mm-mm.
return?
Was Yoda in it at all?
No. No Yoda.
Nope. Must have been Obi-Wan.
It was Obi-Wan.
He's still in this game.
He is. Yeah. So Obi-Wan Padme. I mean, it's essentially Anakin Padme, but with Obi-Wan instead of Anakin.
Okay.
Obi-Wan with barrier, push, vigilance, and protector. A pike capo. Seeing a trend here. With vigilance. Padme with underworld connections.
Yep.
The 3 pikes with the disruptor and the capo.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why
right.
underworld connections.
I was wondering. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
The one phase 1 with portable scanner for extra dodges in case you needed those. Another phase 1 with a DC 15, and then a phase 1 with a Z6.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question, okay? Because ever since we've been playing, Kyle, right? Like, I think maybe I did stuff like this in the beginning. I know you do this from time to time. Is switch the heavy on some of these units. Like, that freaks me out. Like, I can't mentally deal with that because then I have to like remember, you know what I mean? Like trying to figure out, oh, this one's the Z6 versus the other, you know what I mean? Like that. I always like things, especially in the core troops, to be like repeatable, like where it's just like, no, these are all the same. So I don't have to think about this much. But how do you, I know you do that a lot sometimes, not a lot, but I know you do that sometimes.
Well, so I ran Anakin Padme at Adepticon, whatever that was, 7 months ago. I like to think before it was cool. But in that list, I had it was almost a Highlander list, except for the multiple copies of Overwatch. But I had all my clones had different heavy weapons on them. I had an RPS, I had a phase 1 Z6, I had a phase 1 DC 15, and then I had a phase 2 Z6.
Jeez.
So, and it worked.
Right.
It worked decently well.
Sure.
I think part of it is the clone heavy weapons because of fire support. You kind of want your Swiss Army knife of like, what do I want to fire support into this right now, right? It also, because they're so heavy, shaving a couple points off for this heavy or that heavy is often worth it. Like me personally, I rarely like to take like a single heavy weapon, but I'll like in my droid lists, or one of the droid lists, I had 2, 2, and 2 E5C, 2 E5R, or E60R, and 2 E5S, which I mean that was partly because that's the one that I owned at the time, but it's also like I like to have that little bit of redundancy, even if you want to have access to all your different tools. Being able to have redundancy is also good, but in clones, you can't have redundancy and all your options because everything's just too expensive.
Yep. I also feel like at least clearly you could make an argument overall about cost, but relative to each other, I feel like all of at least the phase 1 weapons are pretty fairly costed. They each do something different. There's a reason to take all of them, even the shotgun, which you don't see that much, but and I think their costs relative to each other are all really good. So I find myself when I'm making a clone list, I'm like, I want a DC 15, I want a Z6, I want an RPS. Like they all do different things. Their costs all seem appropriate relative to where they are. So, but yeah, I think this is really interesting. I mean, it's essentially like this really leans into the pikes, but then you have Obi-Wan with barrier and guardian. So if and when the pikes finally run out of dodges, then you have Obi-Wan to be like, you still can't damage them.
Well, and with barrier, you can get rid of a high velocity shot.
High velocity shots. Yep. And guardian.
Yeah. But so one of our locals has been, I mean, basically has learned the game with Obi-Wan list, and I've played it a couple times. And Obi-Wan, I mean, he's like I don't think I'd ever take him competitively, but he does some cool things. And that guardian, if you sort of manage your resources well and play knowledge defense quick spot, he does keep your shooting units very healthy.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I like it. I dig it. Congratulations on winning a major with a Republic list.
Again, I keep saying this, but we are in the Wild West of Legion. Like literally, I just don't. I mean, sure, pikes are a consistent, right? Like I think that's the only. Pikes are pretty consistent. I think Blizzard Force is becoming pretty consistent, but there's so many variations of Blizzard Force too. It'd be interesting to see
And all of them are good.
Yeah. It's hard because I don't like the fact that we just go, oh, Blizzard Force, but there's like 4 or 5 variations I've seen that are all really good. So I think they're all individual lists. You know what I mean? So that still makes it the Wild West. It's just what makes them Blizzard Force is the restrictions and the cards, or not restrictions in some unit ranks. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fun stat on this tournament too is Republic is 100%. So Republic's obviously overpowered.
So yeah, Republic with 100% advancement rate. Yeah.
But I don't know this guy, but I'm assuming he's a good player, right? And so I think a lot of we talk about this too, but like a lot of times games come down to the pilot, right? And how good the pilot is, because that's a real big chunk of it too. Just because I've seen Kyle take ridiculous lists really far and just go, okay, like, you know what I mean? Okay, so pilot has a lot to do with it. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and Legion has always kind of been like that, where even when you have some lists that are like doing consistently better than others, any player can win a tournament,
right?
Which means any list can, not any list, but any like reasonably constructed and intentional list can win a tournament. And I think that's still true. I think there's some clear like low-hanging fruit as far as stuff that you could make a little bit more expensive, and some stuff that you can make a little bit cheaper based on overall gaming experience and consistently which things are doing well and which things aren't. But we sometimes use hyperbole on this show. That shouldn't be a show. But the balance differences that we're talking about in Legion, they're not like, this isn't 40K where you have some factions that are at like 20% win rates and some that are at like 75 or 80. We're talking about the difference between like maybe 45 to 55. Which, when you have a game that is as well balanced and foundationally like well designed as Legion, those differences can feel pretty big. And sometimes they are. Like if you've got 2 players of equal skill, then you'd rather have the 55 instead of the 45% chance, right? But generally speaking, like most of the time, those differences kind of wash out. So
I know the like Honest Wargamer, which is Rob, and he does AOS coverage. His sort of like goal for AOS is 55-45. If they're in that range, he doesn't see it as a problem, right? It's anything outside that range that's where, okay, things need to be nerfed, things need to be buffed.
Yeah.
So if we can consistently be in that range, then I think we should be. Maybe I don't think we should. I don't think anyone can be. Oh, this is perfect until it's all 50-50. But it's. I think we should be pretty happy with where things are at.
Yeah, and of course we're talking about overall faction win rates. I think internal faction balance is another matter that requires its own look right now. But and there's also some things like most people are taking pikes, and that's having a counter effect on everyone else's list choices. Like there were, I think somebody was, I need to check this because somebody was saying there was like 4 Wookiees in Invader round robin. And I can't believe that's true because that's 196 players. But the point is, like Wookiees, and you see this just anecdotally, Wookiees and other Civil War era special forces have just like suddenly disappeared because they're not high velocity snipers. And even if the impact of pikes being maybe a little bit too cheap kind of goes out in the wash because everyone can take them, they're still having an effect on like unit selection and stuff like that. So those are important things to keep in mind too for balance purposes. But at least all the factions have a shot. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. SoCal Open. Should we move on to SoCal Open? Any other thoughts on Nordic?
Please. Let's go from the north to the south. Let's do it.
All right. So we do have a top 8 here. We're not going to hit like every upgrade in all of these lists because that would take too long, but we can hit the general theme, if you will. So top 8.
Mm-hmm.
So these are those that made the top 8, but not the top 4, we have in no particular order. Frank Deloche. I apologize in advance if I'm butchering any names again. Basically, Luke, that would be Jedi Luke with Tauntauns. He's got Luke. He has
We have
Rebel
to
Officer
say
with
that anymore.
Vigilance.
Have you even seen Commander Luke? I haven't even
In
seen
Echo
him
Base.
played. Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, just an Echo Base. He's got 2 DLT Rebel Troopers with just the extra Rebel Trooper, no captains here. 2 naked Rebel Troopers, 2 strike teams with the sniper, and then I don't know if I said it already, but 2 Tauntauns with up close and personal.
Good. I like that combo. When Up Close and Personal came out, I was like, man, that would be really good on Tons. I really like that.
Then you have 3 dodges after a double move shoot. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely waters down the charge a little bit, but maybe you don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, their range attack is 4 red dice. So
Yeah, I mean they're less good on the charge now, just because of the creature trooper rule changes.
Yeah.
Like I've found that anytime I've played Tons, which hasn't been too often, in sort of in the new rule set, once they get bogged down in melee, they're can sometimes be pretty easy to punch down. Whereas usually the scariest Ton is the one who's like sort of out in the open, able to keep moving.
Yeah.
So the up close and personal helps fit that playstyle even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Well, I think most of the times when you're moving and shooting, right, you're not charging anyways that turn. So the more dodges you can get to just like survive, the better, you know. But yeah, Tons I think they're still good. Not great like they were, but good. I think
They're perfectly usable.
Yep.
Also top 8, Anthony Gonzalez with Iden, Boba Fett, and Cad Bane. So this is basically Iden double bounty.
That's crazy.
And then an Inferno in there with some, 1 unit of Shores, 1 unit of Storms, 1 unit of 1 Mortar to round out the core units. And then of course an Officer with Underworld Connections, because you need that.
Yep.
Yeah, this is interesting. Very similar conceptually to the list that Izzy won Gen Con with.
It's such a good for the Empire, right? Like for a long time we were saying how Empire was struggling, and here we are, Blizzard Force and double bounty era, and it's only going to get better. We haven't seen even though IG and Mandos came out on Friday, so we got to wait a couple weeks before they're legal for these events. But yeah, I think we're just going to see this even more, right? With the IGs and Mando.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because SoCal Open is not an official OP tournament. So they did not use the 11-day rule. And in fact, the next list that we all get here has IG 88 in it. So
look at me being stupid and segueing anyways. Boom. Got him.
Yep.
Yeah. Empire, not just double bounty anymore. Hextuple bounty.
Yeah. If only you could actually take more than 2 operatives. Please do not let Empire take more than 2 operatives.
No, what we need,
balanced as awesome as it would be,
is a commander with bounty. That's what we need. Yeah. Take triple bounty.
I mean, you look at a battle force like Shadow Collective that has that 1 to 4 commander / operative shared slot. The only thing stopping Shadow Collective from running triple bounty is that they only have 2 bounty hunters on the roster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, I mean, who knows whether that's going to continue to be true forever, but
unknown.
Anyway, also top 8. Matt Bronson, aka Zeus Juice. Yep. He's the number 1 ranked North American ELO player. Not that I'm closely tracking this at all.
Huh, Kyle? How the mighty have fallen.
Hey, look, man, you got to lose a game occasionally.
Hey, Matt, if you're listening, we've got a spot open on the Scoundrels now. I got to get rid of Kyle if you overtook him on the Elos.
I've been not number 1 for like 7 months at least.
No, I don't pay attention to that at all.
Okay.
I literally don't care.
I'll get my spot back though, Matt.
I'm just glad that we the North are taking over.
Yeah, actually, Canadians, Matt and then Babette, who just beat me last weekend. in Invader are
Ooh.
number one. Bobette's number one on the Invader Elo, and then Matt is number one on the North American Elo. So congrats,
which is-
Canada.
so have we found Kyle's kryptonite? It's Canadian heritage. That's the
Apparently, yeah. I guess it's Canadians. And then Luke Cook, who's like Canada adjacent, basically. So
I mean, yeah, like literally, I think he's like half an hour from Canada. So
yeah,
like,
those are the three players that seem to have my number. But anyway, I digress. Matt brought
how's it feel to be just one of us now, Kyle?
just the guy, Jay. Pants one leg at a time. All right. Matt brought basically Iden double bounty, but this one with Boba Fett and IG-88. So we got Iden, you got an officer, Boba Fett, IG-88, 2 shores, 2 mortars, Inferno, and a strike, 2 strikes. So
that's good.
It's really good.
Sounds gross the whole way through.
It's just it's interesting because with that one and the one before it, like Rebels used to be Hero Hammer, right? Like that, and now it's like now you could do that with Empire, which you couldn't do for a while. Because if you count like Dell and Gideon, right? Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if you count ID10. Like so you've got a whole bunch of like heroes, named heroes.
Do they have command cards listed there?
They do. So of course the new Boba command cards were not legal for SoCal because those are physical cards that are not out yet. Yeah. But one really interesting thing I like about Iden Boba IG is that IG-88 specifically does not have a 3-pip. You know, he's got there's sort of that weird card overlap thing between him and 11. He's got available to him a 1-pip and a 2-pip, but not a 3-pip. So if you've got Boba and Iden in there, you can take the 2 best 3-pips in that list, Boba's Rocket and Tactical Strike, and like not feel bad about having another character in there where you have to sacrifice the 3-pip.
Yeah, I think, and you only take Tac Strike in that, right? Out of Iden's, you don't even bother with the other ones.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it feels really bad to leave Pulse Scan behind. That's a super good card. I love using it to just like kill a strike team on the first turn because it's on a lot of real life tables. It's pretty difficult to like hide both models from a infiltrating unlimited range unit.
Right.
You just play Pulse Scan on the first turn and you're up in activation, or at least your opponent's down in activation. But I think you have to take Whipcord if you're taking Boba. That's like mandatory. And then IG-88's card focused on the kill, of course, is that one that gives him that like stims. You know, he gets he doesn't die until the unfazed thing, and then also the target cannot spend tokens. So that's obviously a really good card. It's probably better than Pulse Scan. So it's defensible there to take those 1-pips. It makes me a little bit sad to leave Pulse Scan behind, but
and then do you take both IG 2-pips?
Yeah, you take both IG 2-pips.
Yeah. That's what I figured. But
yeah, because I mean, Flame Projector, whatever.
Yeah. Situational
is great in certain situations and never used in others. So you take both IG 2-pips for sure.
So Kyle, I know what you and the listeners at home are thinking right now. How many top 8s is Boba going to be in before Jay admits that he thinks he's good? And the answer is none.
Never.
I don't care because I think he's good. I don't think he's as great as everybody's making him out to be.
All right.
I'm just saying, you don't build a list around him. It seems like he's just a part of a list with all these other great pieces.
He's a great part of a list with other great pieces.
He's a good part. Yeah, he's all right.
I mean, I've been hitting things with gaffing sticks with my Rebel Boba, and it's a lot of fun.
I would love to hear your experience about Rebel Boba.
Right now?
Well, yeah, like right now. Why not?
Right now?
Yeah, tell me. I want to hear about it.
Like 2 into a top 8, but sure, you know.
We will
right
quick
now.
hit.
Quick hit. Well, so I went 4-1 in round robin with it. Only lost to Imperial Sympathizer, who had
the old imp simp.
Bikes, Din, and Boba. Yep. And I just lost the damage battle, i.e., I put a bunch of fire into Mando and he didn't die. So whatever.
Mm,
But so I'm doing Lando, Boba,
Yeah.
2 officer, or sorry, Lando, Boba, officer, and then 4 DLTs, 3 snipers. It feels a little points heavy, like my bid's 1 point, and I kind of wish Lando were 5 to 10 points cheaper, is what I've been saying for a while. Just because that list would feel a lot better with a few more points bid. But Rebel Boba is super fun. That 2-pip where you just double move and hit a bunch of stuff
Mhm.
is very good. Especially like I put into the not into the fray, up close and personal on Boba, and you double move, it's usually into melee with something, and then you shoot like 5 units, and now you have 5 dodges, and you're feeling pretty safe.
mm,
So like especially if you need to go at the beginning of the turn, or even in the middle of the turn, you engage. Like, I'm often engaging something that hasn't activated yet, so he's not fully safe. But especially like if they don't have good order control, or they've gone with a unit or 2 of their good shooters, you double move, hit something, and then shoot a bunch of stuff. And usually that's enough damage, enough dodges, and then like you're trying to catch something in melee that's like their best offensive squad or whatever. So they have to sacrifice that, and then Boba will only take a shot or 2 in return, and then you got 4 or 5 dodges to deal with that. Lando also is super fun in that list. Contingencies is nice, helps your command cards a little bit. Also being able to so the last game I played, I killed Din with a independent standby because I played well, I actually got 2 standbys in that game. The one of them didn't go off, but basically with Lando you have order control on Boba because you have his 2-pip you can throw away to get Boba whenever you want. So then you play a different card that plays the 2-pip.
So is that accurate? Like, can you give Boba an order with the 2-pip?
I might be cheating. You just let me check that. Oh my.
ugh.
This would be real bad if I cheated.
The Fifth Trooper would like to formally apologize for its independent contractors in any games that they may be playing and performing illegal actions. If you have any complaints against one of the Fifth Trooper staff, you can direct them towards Tim. Uh-oh, now you've done it, Kyle.
I'm gonna read this.
Okay, let's hear it.
We'll make a verdict if I lose my head or not.
Okay, if you did cheat, what's the punishment?
I don't know. I guess that's
we get an on-air punishment. I get to pick your list
punishment
for Invader League for single limbs.
I mean, that'd make my life easier. I have no idea what to play.
Yeah.
Anyway, before drawing from your order pool, you may instead discard from your contingencies or hand. If you do, issue an order to Lando Calrissian or a friendly unit at range 1 to 2 of him. Then activate that unit.
Sorry, I'm searching the rules for him because I think there is a.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say this. If it's not in the rules for him, this is something to put in there.
What's the card called? What's his 2-pip called?
Ace up his sleeve.
Well, so good to know. Good to know, Tim.
Ace up his sleeve and mercenaries. Here you go. All right, you ready? You ready, Tim?
I'm ready.
What did we decide the punishment would be?
I get to pick his list for Invader League.
Did Tim agree to that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Oh, look, this question was asked by Dr. Powerslam.
Our own guy?
Yeah. Can you issue an order to a mercenary with the discard effect of Lando's ace up his sleeve, even if your army has no allies of convenience keywords? Hello. No, the order is not being issued from a unit with allies of convenience or a mercenary commander of the same affiliation. So since the order comes from nowhere, the order comes from the ether, it cannot be issued to Boba Fett.
So I can't even remedy that with.
Even if Lando has allies of convenience.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
So, Tim, way back in the day on the Fifth Trooper podcast, we used to have a segment called "We're Doing It Wrong." This
Yeah.
is a perfect candidate for that.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean because I think I read that and the wording is ambiguous enough that I didn't even really think about it. And also, you know, mercy rules are weird enough I didn't think about it. But
There
Weird
you go.
how
Well,
it's ambiguous to your benefit.
luckily, I think I only actually did that trick once in round robin, so
Okay.
I don't think it won me games on the back of it.
All right.
My
All right.
opponent's been correct if
Whoever his opponent was that he did that on, I apologize for him. He clearly has no remorse. He's stone cold on this. He's
It is, I think, a common, or so far has been a common misunderstanding about how that rule works.
I believe this is like the third time on air I screwed up wordings of
Listen.
orders.
Don't worry about it. Dude, I screw stuff up all the time.
Yeah.
I don't even really know the rules half the time. I'd go, wait, I don't know. Let me look that up.
So in case there's like similar things, you know, the important thing to know with the mercenary ordering rules is that the restriction is on the unit that is receiving the order. So it is just, you have to receive an order from a unit that shares an affiliation with you or one that has allies of convenience. And that's it. So like, you know, as it would seem with things like Lando's 2-pip, like clearly you can't receive an order from a commander that doesn't have allies of convenience or share your affiliation, but you also can't receive an order from something that doesn't, you know, is not issuing an order to yourself, or like
Right.
it comes from nowhere, basically, like an ace of its sleeve does. So
Yeah, and that's, you know, when we were at Nova, you know, John and I had this question for Kyle. We talked about the opposite way, right? Because I was playing a Cassian 12 activation Cassian K2 list, and I had the commander, the Pike commander in it, and the question was, if I infiltrate Cassian, he can no longer give orders. So I can't order my vets or anything? And the answer is no, you can, because the mercenary commander can give out orders. They just can't receive orders. It's the opposite.
And it's just mercenary units and just receiving orders. So your rebel vets are not a mercenary unit, so they can receive orders from anybody, including a mercenary unit.
Right.
Yep. Well, this list is still fun because have been able to contingencies to ploy is something I keep in my contingencies.
Yep.
And
Seems
like
good.
that's where like that trick officially works.
Oh yeah, ploy 100% straight up works. Yeah.
And that's and it's nice to have it in contingencies so you can be a little crafty with where you play stuff. But no, I might. Well, I guess I am changing my list for single elims, but no, it was a fun time. This is like when the clone rules changed, and I was like, well, that was a fun era.
just find 5 points and put Underworld Connections on Lando.
Yeah, but
no, it doesn't. That doesn't work either.
Oh,
yeah, it doesn't. That doesn't work.
Because Lando's not issuing the order.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, aren't you glad you found this out before elims?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
All right, let's move on because we're shorting the top 4
He's
here for
probably not
SoCal Open.
glad it happened so publicly, but other than that,
Whatever.
All right, Patrick Hanshin with what is essentially Sabine dodge spam, rebel officer with vigilance, Pike capo with vigilance, Sabine with situational awareness, the 2 rebel of the DLT rebel troopers with captains, 2 pikes with the disruptor and soldier, disruptor and the capo fleet, clan run, and then 2 strike teams with sniper rifles.
I love Sabine. Good to see her in the top 4.
Yeah, this is basically like the Luke DLT dodge spam model, except you replace Luke with Sabine and clan run.
Yeah,
seems good.
Clan run good.
Clan run is good. I know that the rebel mandos get a lot of flack, but that flack does not apply to clan run.
Nope.
You know, the issue with rebel mandos is basically just that their durability is very dice dependent. It's very wrapped up in their save.
And courage.
And courage. Yep. They only have courage 2. Their actions are super valuable. If they take 2 suppression from a suppressive weapon or just getting shot twice or whatever, they're, it's really hard to get something useful done with them. Or if you just have like a bad save, you lose 2 guys on a random shot, like that really hurts their durability. So, but Clan Ren has 2 models per unit. They have Dauntless from Ursa, and they get free dodges from Renu. So that goes a very long way towards rectifying the issues with Rebel Mandos. So Clan Ren good.
And if you can give them a name and get Pierce.
Yep. Yep. And of course, Retinue can be used for that also, alternatively.
Especially if you have Vigilance and you like Vigilance and the dodge, and then chuck them a name.
Yep.
Oh, it's
exactly.
a fun time.
Super fun. All right. Top 4, Frank Deloche with Droid Double Bounty. He's got a T series with Underworld, Bosk and Cad Bane, Boosk and Cad Bane.
Yep.
4 B1s with the E5S, that's the sniper heavy. Naked B1s with an HQ uplink, and then 2 Magnus.
Yeah.
With RPS. Good. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, this is this may be one of the first lists, or I know, I'm sorry if it wasn't, but basically, once Bosk was over on the CIS, I was like, oh, that's so good. There's got to be a ton of lists that he would fit into. You know what I mean? And I had a few. I never really got to try them yet, but like, yeah, Bosk is good. CIS is good. CIS is just, they're still just balanced. They're just still a balanced. I know they're not as super popular now, but they're, I don't think they have a terrible unit. Maybe the Droidekas, but like I don't think they really, besides them, everything else is serviceable.
Yeah, the reason that droids have seen a decline in top cut representation and overall effectiveness, I think and we predicted this when Pikes came out, it has everything to do with Pikes.
Yeah.
On both sides of the table, offensively and defensively, Pikes are just exceptional against B1s.
Yep.
They have a large quantity of reliable dice, which is really good into B1 white saves, and they have defense that is centered around mitigating chip damage, which is what B1s do with that E5S. They're also really good against spiders for similar reasons. And of course that range for impact 1 weapon. So I think that if Pikes get nerfed in some fashion, whether that's a cost increase or whatever, and you start seeing less Pikes, droids are going to come like roaring right back, and people are going to be like, oh yeah, that's right, Magnas and spiders and B1s with E5Ss were really good, and they're still really good against everything that isn't Pikes. So we'll see if they do some kind of points update, if they like anticipate that and kind of proactively, do the adjustments that you would have done to those handful of droid units like 7 months ago anyway, 6 months ago before Pikes came out. We'll see what happens. I think if like nothing happens to the droid units and Pikes get a hit with the nerf bat, you're going to see Magnas and spiders and E5Ss like come right back, and then you're just going to throw Bosk or Cad Bane in there too.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, oh yeah, this was really good. We'll see what happens. But yes, I think that's a long way of saying, Jay, that I agree with you. All this stuff is still good. It's just a awkward fit for a meta that is so jammed with Pikes.
Sad, Kyle, that you can't ever just come out and say that you agree with me. You always have to be really long-winded about it.
Look,
Can't just like, yeah, Jay's right.
I'm long-winded. I got opinions, Jay.
Especially when they're in alignment with my opinions.
Yeah.
It's just, well, I gotta make sure I don't want to be too close to Jay on this, so I'm gonna specify exactly where I stand.
Yeah, I made one of those
Kyle.
One of those videos, and it's supposed to be a quote 5-minute strategy video.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, how long is this going to take? Because I wanted, I don't have a big house. So I tried to make things quiet during this video because I don't know how to edit anything. So if there's like some random, somebody trips over something or something happens while I'm running this video, I'm be like, well, that's staying in. So she's like, well, how long do I have to be quiet? I'm like, I don't know. This is only supposed to be 5 minutes. It was not 5 minutes.
Nope. I know he sent it over to me. He's like, here's my 5-minute video. And I'm like, 11 minutes. I'm like, can't follow
Anyway.
the rules.
I talk. It is,
well.
it is what it is.
It's great.
Yep. Okay. Second
Next.
place, Thomas Sullivan with
Old Tommy Sulls. Old
Yep.
Tommy Sully.
with Anakin Padme.
Oh, hey,
Woohoo.
nice. Wow,
And-
two guard lists making top. Huh? Wow.
Yeah. Anakin Padme Pikes and Barks.
Wow.
This is actually 10 activations.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So kind of impressive. You've got Anakin with the standard slate of Anakin upgrades, Padme with Vigilance, a naked phase 1 Z6, phase 1 RPS, 2 pikes with the Disruptor and the Capo, and then 3 Barks.
Yeah. Barks are
Really good.
interesting. Yeah.
Naked Barks anyway.
They're like, I think it was last Invader League. So by the way, if anybody's wondering what happened to me in Invader League, I dropped. I couldn't make, like, literally I couldn't make any of my games work. And I was just like, I didn't want to keep stringing people along. You know what I mean? I just couldn't do it. So I just dropped. But anyways, last Invader League. Yeah. Dude, like I had a Bark sneak up on me and I was just like, oh yeah, right. What am I doing? These are really good. Like,
and they don't just evaporate.
no.
No, they don't.
I'm thinking this is a future list thought. Quick.
All right, go for it.
Cody direct vehicle. Just put a long range comm link on a Bark, and then maybe even throw a gun on it, and then probably have aggressive tactics on Cody, and then you just have this like random Bark off the middle of nowhere with an order all the time and a surge token.
Yeah, that seems pretty good actually. They'd be kind of an expensive Bark, but I mean,
you could do a naked one, but they're a little harder to sort of like loiter around because they're speed.
Yeah,
and
they
also
have a big base.
And they have a big base, and they don't hit nearly as hard when they finally come around the corner. And I think if you're sort of putting that kind of investment in it, you might as well just go all in. But,
oh yeah, 100%.
But it sounds fun. It's just this thing just exists over there. Deal with it.
Yeah, it's only 55 points, but you also can't. I mean, it's 4 dice, and since they're so fast, you can get out of cover shots. Like, you can't just take 4 dice shots to the face.
No.
And of course, they have surge hit, and you can fire support that with a Z6. So, then that becomes a 14, 15 dice shot to the face with surge hit.
Yeah. I mean, just the basic twin laser gunner plus the comm link Bark is 78 points, which for something that'll have an order and a surge token, that's it seems fine.
It's only 3 more points than an Empire Speeder Bike. No, it's not. Empire Speeder Bike's 70. That's 8 more points than an Empire Speeder Bike.
Yeah.
Still interesting.
Yep.
Speaking of Empire Speeder Bikes, winner Bobby Joe Thomas, BJT.
Hey,
I know that guy.
Yeah, Bobby Joe. Of
he's
course,
such a good dude.
He's a super good dude, and he goes to like every tournament.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've hung out with Bobby Joe a lot at these events. Super cool guy. Bringing basically the Luke Cook special.
Yep.
It's Iden with Shores, Mortar, Storms, Inferno, 2 generic ISF with the T21, and then 3 speeder bikes with the transponders.
Yep.
So yeah, this is the same list basically that Luke brought to Adepticon.
Yep, made top 2. Yeah.
Yeah, super effective. Bikes, all the bikes.
Yeah, a lot of good lists. A lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah.
Good to see Gar up there. I mean, hey, I don't know. The one thing we haven't seen is Shadow Collective.
Yeah, a
Not
little
too much of that
surprising.
going on, huh?
I
know.
mean,
Is it that surprising?
I think so. I mean,
I
Shadow
think
Collective
it's-
won 2 tournaments ago. Is it the one in? I mean, Matt Bronson just won a tournament with Shadow Collective, but I'm blanking on which one it was. Not Gen Con. It was the one before that. Anyway, yeah, they've. It's not like they haven't won stuff.
I think part of the reason you're not seeing as much is real life money / hobby / how Star Wars is this factor.
Yeah, like
Right.
who's gonna buy 8 boxes of pikes?
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
guess Evan, right? He came in second at Nova, so
Yeah.
technically his Shadow Collective there too. But yeah, just so Kyle, and this is
8's not
great.
enough. You need 9.
Only if you run 6 capo upgrades in the core unit, which I think is probably cost prohibitive.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So okay, so here's a question, because we asked this on the last episode. This was a question from Evan, and I think this kind of falls in that same category. We're talking about why you haven't seen a ton of the separatist invasions. And my answer was basically because it's boring, and because it's really hard to A, transport, B, deploy, C, run. Because Tim, I brought up your version, right, where it's like 8 B1s with the heavies, with the heal bots, with and an AT. It's like that's just a lot of minis, to be bringing. And and even getting and painting and building, right? And I think this Pike's Shadow Collective list kind of falls in that same category, where it's A, hard to get, B, boring to play, and C, just not really realistic as far as like regular everyday players doing that.
Yeah, I mean, in the competitive realm too, the invasion force has no Pierce and really only one high velocity shot, which is a good high velocity shot, but it's not
Right.
right. Like it's a little bit weak into, like, I mean, if Blizzard Force and Pikes are strong, Invasion Force a little bit struggles against both of those things. Although it has a better, it has a weird matchup against Blizzard Force, because in some parts the sort of across the field, some parts it's like much better than Blizzard Force, but in other parts, if red dice just do red dice things, well, you can't do much to it.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's just interesting, right? Like I think I think you could take the last couple months of tournaments, right? And I guarantee we could pick lists like a separatist invasion list, a pike list, just these lists that just aren't making top 8 at these tournaments, and go, this is a list that could absolutely win and take. But people, it's odd, right? Like it's an odd place to be in the game, where there's lists we know are extremely competitive and good, whether or not they have weaknesses. I think all lists have weaknesses that we just aren't seeing, because I just think they're boring and hard to put together.
I mean, there's probably an end value of like how many new units do you have to assemble to make like the new hotness list
Right.
versus like how often you see it. Be an interesting little data point.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a factor for me at Nova Open.
Yeah.
Like I have a bunch of unassembled pikes. I only got 2 pikes put together, which is like the Iden Boba pikes thing that I ended up running. It was a way lower bar from an assembly perspective than just like full blown Shadow Collective.
Yeah.
Which I think would have been my first choice if I had to just make a pure this is what I really want to bring kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. All right, any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, I don't know. Legion's a fun game. It's a weird time right now, because it's hard to like pick a list for an event now, because there's so many like viable things that you could bring. So it's interesting to just see how this is going to play out over the next couple months leading into Worlds. So
Yep.
I have no idea. I have no idea what we're going to see at Worlds. I mean, I think Pikes, if nothing changes between, if there's no points updates, no adjustments to Pikes between now and Worlds, you're going to see Pikes in the top 4. Like at least 2 lists will have Pikes, right? That's a guarantee. But like, other than that, I couldn't tell you what they would be in. I mean, based on this, you could have Gar, you could have Empire, you could have Rebel. I don't know. It's crazy right now. It's crazy.
Yep.
Anywho's it's.
I can't wait for snow. Yay.
You sound so excited.
I am. I swear it. The immortal question of winter tires are in the shed. When do they go on?
Yep. I don't have this.
I personally, I like snow, and I also love Christmas. Love Christmas, something fierce. So I like just waiting
Do you
for
go crazy
Halloween
with the
over.
decorations?
Yeah, but it's not really so Rachel's a huge Halloween nut, so like we do both. Like I think maybe we're just crazy with decorations like for every holiday. But oh yeah, we got all kinds of inflatables, we got all kinds of lights. I get up on the roof. Not that I like doing that at all, but I do it. Yeah, I go very Clark Griswold.
Plug in the
Yeah.
thing and shut down the power grid.
Oh yeah, just out there swearing. The kids are like, "Dad, are you okay?"
Mhm.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. Why is this not working? Yeah. All that whole thing. But I love it. I love every minute of it. I really do. Yeah. Just thinking about it makes me.
I mean,
happy.
snow is pretty, and then you go, okay, there's 3 feet of it on the road. I gotta get somewhere. Let the
See,
games
well,
begin.
yeah, I get that. The problem is I don't have to get anywhere, so I love snow.
Yeah, and around here when it does snow occasionally in Northern Virginia. But what's funny is, like I said, we don't have winter tires. Like we have snow plows, but we don't have a lot of them. So when it snows, like everything shuts down. So when it snows, nobody has to be anywhere because no one expects you to be anywhere.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna go, drive on a foot of snow road with my Mazda 6 with the
Yeah.
normal road tires.
Some of the best stories of Winnipeg are like traveling bands who like, their bus drivers driving them through the blizzard to get to Winnipeg for a show, and they're like, it's got to be canceled, right? Like, there's no way anyone shows up, and they show up, and like some Winnipeggers will trudge out in t-shirt and shorts, pull all their gear out of the bus, throw it in the gate place for a full gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep,
Oh,
sounds about
man.
right.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. How do we close this out?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're the one that does that. So
I know. I'm just
at any point you're at.
all right. We are the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Kyle.
I'm Jay.
And I can't wait to do midterms tomorrow.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
This has been a Fifth Trooper production.